So first of all, Tashidele, greetings to all Dharma friends. Geshe hopes that you are well and he hopes that you are happy. And today we will continue with the various steps of, sort of in a brief way, in a capsule, going through the glance meditations on the Lamrim, the stages of the path.
And
within the Lamrim, or stages of the path, glance practices, we have already covered the stages of the path common to beings of a lesser capacity and the stages of the path common to beings of a middling capacity. And so that brings us to, perhaps we could say, the most important, which is the stages of the path of beings of the great capacity. So we are covering topics within this. And so it is called the great scope because it is greater and vast in terms of the practices of the Bodhisattva mind, which are said to be more powerful.
And so in
when we speak about the great scope and we speak about the Bodhisattva path, whether one is able to follow that path or not, we need to think about that there is a door which will let us into that house, or which will let us into that path. And the door is said to be the practice of Bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, which is the door to the path of Mahayana. And so when we talk about bodhicitta, if we are able to bring this forth in the mind in a stable way, if we were to say what are the kind of benefits does this bring, it brings us not only peace and happiness in this lifetime, but it also allows us to be happy from lifetime to lifetime, all the way until we reach the goal of complete enlightenment. Buddhahood. And so in terms of the method for bringing forth bodhicitta, or the mind of enlightenment, there's sort of two paths or two methods by which we can do that. Today, Geshe is going to focus on the method for the disciples of sharp faculties. And in terms of the lineage of this method, it began with Buddha Shakyamuni and went down through Nagarjuna to other masters. And up till now, this lineage of this instruction has not degenerated. It is like an ornament, and so as we practice this, we should do this with a mind that is joyful. So Geshe said that now we will continue with the rest of the session sort of like a meditation, like a glance meditation, and we will begin the meditation on the actual instructions of equalizing and exchanging self and others. And so as a preliminary to meditation, preliminary to each session, then just we need to pay attention to bringing the body and the mind into a relaxed, peaceful state. Think also that the body and the mind are vast and encompassing. And so then bring forth this motivation through equalizing and exchanging self with others. I will apply myself in meditation to this instruction of equalizing and exchanging self and others to bring forth bodhicitta.
Maroso Ruinare, Soso Tendivinare, Ani me Tandro Sudo Seinayo, Ani Yo maybe Tony Kandijil, Nyomba the Carriare, Zanavina.
So if we think about ourselves, if we think about others, if we think about those who are close to us, any human or any animal, if we are to think amongst all of these beings, what do we have? What do we share that is in common?
Deji Puzupa Tayat, Kangi Chasuma Nevasata, Nibayobate, and Nyobare.
We are the same in striving towards this perfect happiness and having the capacity to be able to achieve this perfect happiness and to completely clear away, diminish our problems and difficulties.
Taviri Yobate, Yo Denimon, Chaso, Julis, and Taviri Yobate.
And in terms of the potential for liberation, we all share this potential for liberation. There is no being that does not have this potential. We are the same in possessing this potential for liberation.
Shobatu, Niji Shonju Rio Batu, Yobarendo, Yoatenimon.
All beings share this potential for love, the potential for compassion, the potential for bodhicitta. All beings are equal, are the same in possessing these potentials.
Tama Sonji Salando Toyateo, Yobarendo Mato, Yoatenimon.
And also there is no difference between beings from the point of view of the final goal of complete Buddhahood. All beings are equal, are the same in possessing the capacity to reach Buddhahood, complete enlightenment. Because all sentient beings possess these potentials, possess these capacities, all of them without exception. There is not one that is unworthy. All of them are precious. Also, not just that, but all beings are the same in being close to us and being connected with us. All beings share this equality. There is not one that has not been close to us. However, because of self-centeredness, self-cherishing, or the self-centered mind, then the problems between beings may start as small, but those problems are magnified due to this attitude of self-centeredness. As this attitude of self-centeredness increases, it leads to serious problems such as wars, conflicts, and disharmony. It is very clear that the problems within the family, the problems between people, even the problems between countries, the cause of this is the self-centered attitude. We are engaging in this attitude of self-centeredness, self-cherishing, and striving in the attitudes compelled by it. And we see this self-cherishing as a medicine. We become addicted to it. It is not something that brings us anything good.
롱기 보면 롱기 주보 다 야야가 뭐도 들어서 이나요 기보면 봐서 그지래.
It is something that makes us unhappy, the people around us, and our friends unhappy. Any human being or animal who encounters us is put off by this self-centered, self-cherishing.
숨바지에 진저가 예대 것도만이 그소마.
So having thought of the disadvantages of self-cherishing, the next step is the advantages of cherishing others. Think of the advantages of cherishing others.
좀 멀린테르다가 이나요 이 진저가 돈에 보게 네 이제 내가 손바요 겨지고 있더니 샤워 첨부 저가 나야 모먼드스.
We can see in the world there are those who bring forth this this attitude of cherishing others, and from this attitude of cherishing others, they engage in activities effectively that bring peace and happiness.
모두 들어서 이나요 소속 이해줘야 돼요. 근데 이제 내가 손바 때문에 이해줘.
Humans and animals with this attitude of cherishing others, one who brings forth cherishing others, those humans and the animals become close to such a person.
갈래 지냈더니 나 세대 아주 요새 뭐 저 손지 자야 되고 예 진짜라 되니까 야야를
That we call the I or the self, it is through this attitude of cherishing others that one eventually becomes a bodhisattva. It is through this attitude of cherishing others that one brings forth bodhicitta and becomes completely enlightened. So the next step, the fourth step, is having thought about the disadvantages of self-cherishing and the advantages of cherishing others. One then thinks, I must actually exchange self and others, meaning I must exchange self-centeredness for the mind that cherishes others.
이 톤네든 갈래 동네근 요래 안에 로바 저 강가 로로로 버시데 아버지가 버지 담나세데 아버지로
On the basis of exchanging self-cherishing for cherishing others, then one can, on the basis of that, practice taking and giving, or tonglen. And then on the basis of this practice of tonglen, one can have great progress, be happy in one's life. So we'll pause there. So Geshe said, in this way we have covered the equalizing and exchanging method for arising bodhicitta, and although we have not been able to cover all the points in detail, we have covered the essentials briefly. So putting this foundation stone of this practice, and then on the basis of that, we can come to some stability in the mind, and then we can improve and improve. And also we can incorporate as much as possible analytical meditation into this, so we can understand the reasons behind these minds. So on the basis of this, think I can bring forth a mind which is happy, a mind which is peaceful, and accordingly I will bring happiness to those close to me, to my family, to my neighbors, to my community, indeed to every human being and animal one encounters. Thank you, we'll end it here.